Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Engineer Fadil Medin from University Technology Malaysia, as well as member of IPASA, the Center for Environmental Sustainability and Water Security, the Honorable the Dean Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science, Universitas Diponegoro, Professor Insinyur Triwinarni Agustini, MSP, PhD, the Honorable the Head Department of Aquatic Resources, Dr. Insinyur Suryanti, MPE, the Honorable the Head Master Program of Aquatic Resource Management, Dr. Insinyur Pujiono Wahyu Purnomo, MS, the Honorable all lecturers in Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science, Universitas Diponegoro, and the Honorable all participants from Indonesia and Malaysia. Welcome to our international seminar online within the risk assessment and hazard impact of face masks and medical waste disposal during the COVID-19 pandemic toward water pollution. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Aninditya Sabdanisi. I will be your master of ceremony for today's seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend my warm greetings and welcome to all of you and wish you stay healthy in this pandemic situation. We appreciate you taking time of your busy schedules to join us today. We hope you will find the program we have lined up for you to be fruitful and engaging. So please allow me to introduce the agenda for today. Moment. Okay. At 9 until 9:10, I will explain to you about the rules of this seminar, and then afterwards, we will have opening remark from the Dean Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science. And after that, at 9:25 until 9:30, we will have photo session. So please don't forget to prepare your virtual background because all participants will turn on the camera. And the next, 9:30 until 10, I will introduce the profile of Universitas Diponegoro, our faculty, and also our department. And then at 10 until 11, I will introduce the moderator and followed by presentation from our distinguished professor, Prof. Fadil. And then at 11 until 11:30, the discussion will be led by moderator. And the last is closing. Next, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, for opening the seminar, please let's say basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, the next agenda for today is the rules. So, you can see in this slide for the rules. First, the seminar is held through two channels. There are Zoom and YouTube. For participants who have difficulty logging into Zoom, can switch to YouTube. And second, for the stability of the internet connection, participants' video and audio are automatically turned off and will be pleased to turn on in the photo or discussion session. The third, in discussion sessions, please use the Q&A feature on Zoom to ask questions. Those who want to be conveyed directly can use the right hand feature, so you can ask directly to the speaker. And for participants who are present on YouTube, can text questions on live chat. And next, the attendance link will be shared through the chat menu on Zoom and live chat on YouTube during the event. And last, participants must attach proof of attendance. So you need to screenshot during the seminar for your proof of attendance. So next, please. We also want to inform to you that A total 321 participants have registered in this seminar, come from many institutions, from Sabang until Merauke, as well from Malaysia. At least 65 institutions, including university, polytechnic, government college, officials from ministry, local agency, senior high school, and so on. So many of background of participants. And the next agenda is opening remarks. I will invite the Honorable our Dean, our Dean, Professor Insinyur Triwinarni. Please, time is yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, first of all, I would like to say thanks very much to the head of department, Dr. Suryanti, and the team who has conducted this webinar for this morning. And this is the first time for the webinar in the Aquatic Resource Department that involve the foreign or invited speaker from other countries. So this time also would like to give appreciation and to the honorable invited speaker, that Professor Dr. Muhammad Fadil MD, the director of UTM Campus Sustainability Fellow of IPASA from Malaysia. And this morning, the topic was very related to the current issue that all we know that since 2019, we all facing the pandemic COVID-19 that is very give significant impact to all of us, including to the university activity, especially to the academic activities. And this morning, with the topic that will be delivered by the keynote speakers is the risk assessment and hazard impact on face masks and medical waste disposal during COVID-19 pandemics toward water pollution. This topic is very related to the department, especially everyone who dealing with the assessment on the water pollution in Department of Aquatic Resources. So I do believe that the discussion that will be happen today is very useful for all of us. And according to the Master of Ceremony, Dr. Anin, there are many participants who involved or joining this webinar for today, not only from the campus, but also from other institutions. So I really expecting that there will be a very interesting discussion, and this topic will be beneficial for all of us. So thank you again to the moderator also, Pak Octavianto Ekojati, SPI MSI, that for discussion today should be very interesting for everyone joining this webinar. So with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, this webinar is officially open. So have a good discussion and enjoy the webinar. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Prof. Triwinarni. Please stay with us to have photo session. Yeah, so everybody, ladies and gentlemen, could you please turn on your camera? We will have photo session. So for everyone who still turn off the camera, please open your camera and use our virtual background. So we will start to capture your happy and also your yeah, okay, please stay smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next please stay smile, say cheers. Okay, next please be happy. Okay, the last slide please, smile. Okay, thank you very much. So now you can turn off your camera. Thank you. Then we will show you a profile from Universitas Diponegoro, our faculty, our department, and also the upcoming program in this month. So the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science have 6 departments, such as Department of Aquatic Resources, Department of Aquaculture, Department of Capture Fisheries, Department of Fisheries Product Technology, Department Marine Science, and Department of Oceanography. In our department, we have 3 study programs from undergraduate to doctoral degree. So please, we can enjoy the preview moment. We will play for you a 30 minutes. So please enjoy everyone.
Diponegoro University has been moving ahead to be the best university in Indonesia by providing 13 faculties of undergraduate and postgraduate. Diponegoro University has graduated 300,000 qualified alumnus. Diponegoro University also establishes vocational schools to generate a ready-to-work alumnus. Holding the fighting values of Pangaran Diponegoro, such as honest, brave, fair, and attentive, Diponegoro University keeps producing excellent alumnus nationally and internationally, while also contributing in the development of knowledge, technology, art, culture, and exercise.
Is a rising star. We have planned to become one of university in 500 world university rank. We have been continuously improving the supporting aspect. The downstream of research outcomes. that can be beneficially implemented for the society. We are also keen to improve an international academic publication, as well as the number of doctorates and professors in Diponegoro University.
Now, Diponegoro University has been improving in two important aspects of achievement: institutionally and student achievement. Diponegoro University has become a world-class university by being ranked 5th amongst almost 5,000 universities in Indonesia. Meanwhile, the students' achievement in both national and international scales of prestigious events are increasing. The vision to be an eminent research university is supported by the continued increase of research funding. The total research and civil service funding in 2018 is 123.7 billion rupiah. It consists of PMBP, the National Competition Research Funding, and Collaboration Research Funding. Of significantly improved research. The patent consists of simple patent, patent, international patent, software, and invention legal letter. To support the academic process, Diponegoro University has been improving the student facilities. Thus, the students will not only get the knowledge, but also the actualization space. As for the academic service, Diponegoro University has built a central computerized system that includes the service for the online study plan and online registration.
Iklim kompetisi di Undip yang sportif dan konstruktif memacu saya untuk terus berprestasi dalam akademik maupun non-akademik.
Didukung dengan fasilitas umum dan keakademikan yang lengkap.
Sehingga membawa Undip masuk 10 besar universitas terbaik di Indonesia.
Undip berada di daerah beragam budaya yang harmonis.
Yang pastinya Undip lebih baik.
Undip lebih baik. Bagaimanapun, Undip pasti lebih baik.
Indonesia is an archipelagic country with one of the world's richest reefs and longest coastlines. This gives Indonesia an immense potential in the fisheries and marine sector. The Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science of Diponegoro University has been among the leading marine research institutions in Indonesia. since it was first established as Fisheries Department in 1968 and officially became a faculty in 1994. The Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science is located in the Central Java province. The main campus, where main activities take place, is located in the capital city of Semarang. The second campus, also known as the Marine Science Technopark and Coastal Development Laboratory, is located in Jepara Regency. The vision of the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science is to become an excellent faculty in the field of fishery science and tropical marine in the year 2020. In pursuing its vision, the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science missions are to provide a high-quality education in the field of fisheries and marine science, engage in scientific research and publications, produce intellectual property rights, provide community services in fisheries and marine science field, implement a professional and accountable system, and empower students' activities to achieve the complete graduate qualifications. There are 6 departments in the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science. The first one is Aquatic Resource Management, Capture Fisheries, Aquaculture, Marine Science, Oceanography, Fisheries Product Technology. The faculty provides numerous facilities to support all study and research activities, from student discussion spaces, library, and integrated laboratories. We provide aquaculture lab, biotechnology lab, chemistry lab, hatchery, and Geographic Information System lab.
The excellence of Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science is proud to contribute in fisheries and marine field through artificial patch reef in Panjang Island, Jepara, provides information to the public of Semarang as a reference data for sea level rise on the coast with route calendar. Experimental learning to give the best experience of learning. The faculty have 16 student activity units divided into several fields like art, sport, religious club, research, student executive board, and student senate, where students are allowed to become more involved on campus, increase leadership, social responsibility, and their personal development. One of the organization, Assesment, received an achievement as the best ASEAN student organizations in 2016. Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science conducts activities in international scale, such as International Tropical Summer Course and International Conference on Tropical and Coastal Region Eco Development. International Tropical Summer Course is an event for international students from partner universities to learn about coastal ecological preservation and coastal biota in Semarang and Karimun Jawa Island. International Conference on Tropical and Coastal Region Eco Development is an annual international seminar event that aims to promote and disseminate research results.
The Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science aspire to take a role in strengthening the marine and fisheries field in Indonesia through the application of knowledge from our graduates to achieve and bring positive impact to the society.
Banyak ilmu dan pengalaman selama saya berkuliah di sini. Dan ilmu yang saya dapat sangat cocok dengan bidang yang saya jalani sekarang. Melalui pekerjaan seperti ini, saya mendapatkan kesempatan untuk berkunjung ke tempat yang bahkan tidak pernah saya bayangkan sebelumnya. Perikanan saat ini menjadi sektor yang dibutuhkan di dunia ini. Banyak negara pengekspor ikan, bukan hanya Indonesia. Kebutuhan untuk makan ikan di seluruh dunia pun selalu tinggi. terutama di negara maju.
Saat ini saya bekerja di PT Freeport Indonesia, salah satu tambang terbesar yang ada di Indonesia. Posisi saya saat ini adalah sebagai senior manager di Departemen Lingkungan. Saya bertanggung jawab terhadap semua aspek lingkungan yang ada di job site untuk memastikan PT Freeport Indonesia mematuhi semua peraturan perundangan yang berlaku di bidang lingkungan. Ilmu yang saya pelajari banyak saya gunakan karena salah satu aspek yang dilakukan oleh PT Freeport Indonesia adalah melakukan kegiatan di ekosistem pesisir.
Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science offering some programs, including international and national programs, and we challenge you to explore our fisheries and marine science resources. So, be proudly to welcome you to our Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science. Thank you.
Indonesia merupakan negara kepulauan terbesar ke-6 di dunia, dengan garis pantai, pulau-pulau kecil, dan pesisir yang sangat luas. Beragam kekayaan sumber daya hayati perikanan sangat potensial untuk dimanfaatkan. Ada plankton, ikan, krustase, moluska, tumbuhan air, karang, echinodermata, dan lain-lain. Tugas kita semua untuk dapat mengelolanya dan agar dalam perairan FPIK Undip, kalian akan mendapatkan bekal untuk menjadi sarjana perikanan dan S1 yang mumpuni dalam melestarikan sumber daya perairan dan perikanan. Kajian yang dipelajari dari mulai lautan hingga pesisir seperti ekosistem estuari sampai ekosistem air tawar seperti sungai, danau, dan waduk. Program studi ini 4 kali berturut-turut memperoleh akreditasi A atau sangat baik. Sejak berdiri pada tahun 1996, alumni MSP telah tersebar di seluruh Indonesia dan bekerja di berbagai instansi seperti Kementerian Kelautan dan Perikanan, Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan, LIPI, pemerintah daerah atau dinas, institusi pendidikan, perbankan, lembaga pendidikan, dan menjadi entrepreneur. Dukungan tenaga pengajar yang kompeten, sarana prasarana laboratorium yang lengkap, menambah keunggulan prodi ini. Di prodi MSP, kalian dapat melanjutkan jenjang studi master dan doktor yang inline, serta memungkinkan untuk berinteraksi dan berkolaborasi dengan jejaring universitas luar negeri. Pada kurikulum Merdeka Belajar saat ini, kamu bisa mengikuti pertukaran mahasiswa serta magang di berbagai instansi yang bonafit dan keren pastinya. Jadi, kamu akan mendapatkan banyak pengalaman yang bermanfaat dan pastinya akan membuat kamu menjadi pribadi yang tangguh. So, tunggu apa lagi? Yuk bergabung dengan kami di Prodi MSP FPIK Undip. Informasi lebih lanjut, hubungi kami.
and from Japan, and I'm really enjoying this School 2019. I enjoyed the whole stay in Semarang and Karimunjawa Island. That was a real beautiful island. I really enjoyed this program. Thank you.
For
ITROSCO 2019. We are so happy to be here, to be part of ITROSCO family. And then we would like to say thank you to the organizer and then to all the committee. They are so superb. The food are so delicious. And then
thank you for the next level hospitality.
To train and accompany us during the snorkeling activity in Karimun Jawa.
I appreciate all the programs that you had done for us, and I hope that the program will benefit us in future.
And I can say even though we just knew each other about 10 days, it feels like 10 months.
I think it's a great course, and compare with maybe Sweden, maybe Indonesia, maybe Japan, maybe Malaysia, their culture and their language. We can find a lot of funny things between different culture. Yes, I suggest all the people will come here to join this club.
The ITROSCO trip has been really cool, really interesting. My favorite part was the trip to Karimun Jawa because we got to go snorkeling at coral reefs, and that was just an incredible experience seeing it up close. In Indonesia, it's been really interesting. People have been so hospitable, and then in this program, it's been very cool. It's just fun to hang out with people from different backgrounds. When you're all doing it together, it makes more connections, which is sweet.
And it was nice bonding with other students from Malaysia, Taiwan, and Japan. We also had some lectures towards the beginning, which taught us about mangrove conservation and ocean conservation, and it really stressed the importance of trying to save our biodiversity. We also learned a lot about land subsidence and that problem in simmering. And I think I really had a great time. The highlight of the trip was definitely the excursion to Karimun Jawa.
Fun to be able to be in the ocean in Indonesia with the crystal clear blue water and see the coral. Karimun Jawa was really fun, and it's been great being able to meet people from all different cultures. Coming from the United States was very different and very far from Indonesia, so to see the different cultures and just how certain things are done differently was really interesting for me. All of the people that we've had the chance to work with have been really nice and welcoming and helpful, and it's been really great being here.
Well, this is my first time to Indonesia and Semarang and Karimun Jawa. I'm happy to join this program.
It's been great meeting new people and everyone, the new cultures, and being able to see the city and great hospitality from all the students and everyone at Undip. And during the ITROSCO program, I really enjoyed the snorkeling opportunities we had and just being able to spend time with everybody.
The ITROSCO event is absolutely marvelous.
I really recommend this course. I think you
you should apply for it. It has been a great opportunity to meet lovely people. Indonesians are so welcoming, and we also learned a lot about mangroves and corals, and we went snorkeling. Bye bye, Heido.
再见.
Sampai jumpa. Sampai jumpa.
So, thank you. For the information, the last video that you watched is summer course from the Faculty Fisheries and Marine Science. And this event was held every year. And for this year, we will conduct 18 August to 1st September. And we already have 60 participants from 4 continents and 15 countries. For the next agenda is seminar. Firstly, I would introduce you to our moderator today. So please. Okay. Mr. Octavianto Eko Jati, SPI MSP, or you can call him Mr. Vian, was born 30 years ago in Klaten, in Central Java, Indonesia. And he finished his bachelor and master from this department, Aquatic Resource Management, Universitas Diponegoro. Next, please. He has several professional certification and also training, such as diving, and then monitoring of marine debris, marine protected area management, planning, and water conservation action plan. So please welcome Mr. Vian. Are you there?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Anisia.
Okay,
It's
time
clear
now
my
is
sound?
you. Yes, you.
Okay.
I can hear you. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Anisia.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Her Excellency, the Dean of Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science, Professor Insinyur Triwinarni Agustini, MSc, PhD, the Honorable, the Head of Aquatic Resources Department, Dr. Insinyur Suryanti, MPI, the Honorable, the Head of Master Program of Aquatic Resource Management, Dr. Purnomo, MS, and all of participants of this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Octavianto Eko Jati, the moderator of today's seminar. It's my honor to see you here and welcome all of you to this seminar. In this seminar, we'll discuss about hot topic. We know that at this time, the pandemic COVID-19 is hitting several countries, including Indonesia and Malaysia, and cause difficulties in many aspects. And every day, we always use disposable face masks and personal protective equipment. But if the handling of the waste is not appropriate, it will cause pollution, right? So at this seminar, we will discuss this topic. So ladies and gentlemen, the speaker today is Professor Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Fadil Madin. He is lecturer and director in University Teknologi Malaysia or UTM Campus Sustainability. Okay, before Prof. Fadil give a presentation, let me read his curriculum vitae. Okay, Prof. Fadil was born on June 3rd, 1977 in Malacca, Malaysia. He has received bachelor degree in civil engineering, Universitas Teknologi Malaysia or UTM. Then he got a master degree in environmental engineering, Universitas Teknologi Malaysia and Technical University of Denmark. And second, his doctoral degree at University Teknologi Malaysia or UTM, collaboration with Technical University of Delft, the Netherlands, in environmental biotechnology and civil engineering. Besides that, these are professional affiliation. Excuse me, previous. Okay, thank you. Besides that, these are professional affiliation. First, associate member of Academy of Sciences Malaysia. Second, professional engineer with practicing certificate. Third, corporate member, Institution of Engineers Malaysia. Fourth, member International Water Association. Fifth, consultant and subject specialist for Department of Environment. Sixth, member Society of Engineering Education Malaysia. And the last, member Institute of Marine Engineering, Science and Technology. Now, please welcome the speaker, His Excellency Professor Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Fadil Madin, to deliver your presentation. You have about 1 hour to present and the time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I do hope that everybody can hear my voice. Right, because I still hear the voice from Mr. Octavianto. Is it okay? Eh?
Yes, I hear. It's okay, Prof.
All right, okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much again for highlighting my curriculum vitae. And it is also myself, I'm very honored being invited by this Undip to be as one of these program that we call as a special webinar. On behalf of my institution, I would like to say thank you very much. Terima kasih. Especially to Professor Insinyur Tri Winanti Agustini, who actually the Dean of the Faculty, and of course, been invited earlier by Ibu Suryanti that we met a long time ago in, if I'm not mistaken, in 2016. But it is also my honor to all of these members, as well to students and other participants that actually will engage with us for 1 hour. I do hope that I'm not bore you enough for my sharing experience and some things related on the knowledge. But it is more beyond on that. Because if you look this slide presentation, I think most of you already recognize what the importance message that we want to deliver today. And this is something that very relevant, not only during the pandemics, because I don't want to make you confused. Pandemic is, of course, one of the event, but the most important things that what we actually stand for that particular problems and issues. Okay, if you look there, in our university, we already have this logo. It's very interesting. Very simple, but it is very meaningful. What does it mean by this logo? It means that zero single-use plastic or no single-use plastic. And what we are discussing today, it's actually what we supposed to do long time ago, not today or not during the pandemic. Okay, so you will see what will happen. It's not only the new challenge, it's actually the adding challenge, the added of what we have been destroy our environment. And this is something like people already discuss and reports and do some publication related on that. And I'm not teach you because you are in the faculty of what we call the aquatic fisheries and marine sciences, that you are supposed to know better than me. But of course, because we have other participants from other universities, as well as to my University Technology Malaysia, I saw few joining this. So this will be another refreshment to all of us. Okay. So in order to know this better, so since this is a warming up session, so I do hope that you can go straight away to the slido.com. You can joining that QR code as well as the key numbers there, the pass key that you have to put there. And this is relates to what we supposed to highlight today in entertainment session. In the entertainment, usually like what you can see on this right section, is actually people already discuss in different way. Sometimes we discuss to portray a message. Some of them is actually already make a kind of prediction what will happen for our world if we are not doing some serious action. For example, like in 2012 movie, what will happen? So I think you know. And there are some other things that the day after tomorrow, and then Avatar, Happy Feet, E-Wall, something like that. This is something, this reality in our movie, cinema, they actually try to look what the catastrophic, what the impact will be. Please join this Slido.com. I want to see and to know what kind of movie cinema already give you a very significant impacts. Okay, I hope that you joining. So let me check whether you already joined or not, because that part of the Slido will be something good for us to do more benefits. Okay, I'm now opening the Slido. Okay, let me share with all of you. Okay. All right. So the question here, the session here is, what kind of movie, what kind of drama, what kind of entertainment that you already watched that already relates to environment? I give you one of the, I already gave you one of the movies there. Like for example, Avatar, right? So James Cameron will soon launch the next Avatar, the next Avatar 2.0 later on, right? Of course, as well as other movies relates on that particular session on movie. Why movie is very important to us? Because it is enjoying. Of course, during pandemic, lockdown, everybody is actually looking to the Netflix, right? So they watch the Netflix and they also get a few updates from the Netflix there. And I do believe that you already watch a lot of movie related to environment. And maybe the most very significant things, maybe like zombie. I think you know that there are some kind of movie relates to pandemics, similar to what we have been happening just now. Can you name the movie there? I think most of you know the movie. Who actually the actor for that particular movie? You can see that during that time, people try to put the chaos among the global What happened? Because they already have a kind of viruses impacted the society. Okay, please name the movie. What kind of movie there? You still remember the movie there? I saw that someone already put the Seaspiracy. Yeah, that's one of the things. The day of tomorrow. Maybe you should watch the movie. The movie that very relates to make it better understand. Like, yes, of course, Resident Evil, but there is some other movie relates to virus. Very significant because it is characteristic to all of the nation. It started in US and then it's been spread out to all of the world. So that's one of the movie, and this is very close relates. And there's some other movie in Korea. In Korea, also discussing the same thing, like Train to Busan. We are not reviewing the movie itself, but this is only, it's actually based on the imagination by the directors and also the writers, that actually what will happen to entertain the audience to come to the cinema, to watch the things and to make a blockbuster, for example. But this is only imagination. But nowadays, it's happening. Right? I put it here, the scientist is under pause. Even we know something about the coronavirus, why is actually coronavirus, SARS, is actually been evolved from the previous one, but since being detected in 2019, so that's the name of COVID-19 is over there. But right now, there are some other a mutation of the virus, coronavirus. They have an alpha, they have a delta right now. And even in Malaysia, we're facing this. A cluster of delta is slightly increased. Okay, I'm not the expert of the viruses. I'm not expert on virologists, right? But I do believe that many of you already read a lot of publication related to coronavirus. And the best, and also not best, I think I can say that the worst things, right? The making us very interested on that particular things is because one of the articles, not one, a few articles reported that it can also travel from the air, not only from the droplets of water. Droplet, it means that when you're having a cough, right? So it's very near to other persons, then it can be infected. But this is airborne. It means that from the air pollution, from those kind of particles being, stay in our ambient. That's also part of that viruses can travel and infect it. And also, there's some also reported, I think you have to look into the publication, that they say that a few particles, they can be as the metric houses for these viruses to stay for certain hours. And then it can impact for those particular publics or those very nearby to that particular material do already touch on that things. So these kind of activities and opportunity to spread the virus making us very cautious. This is a lesson learned to all of us. Why? Because we know that this is the activity transmission, not the activity of we are dealing something very bad. And of course, before the pandemic, people not really worry about hand washing or hygienic, right? So I will tell you later on that things and why this is a very important later on the behavior of that virus and why virus can be spread very quickly, and there's some reason on that. But the most important thing is that whether before the pandemics, are you washing your hands before eating? I do believe that you just say that, okay, my hands looks like very clean, I can eat something, right? You can touch something to be eaten. But this is before. But what happened now? People very cautious. They are very alert to touch something, to make sure they can wash something. So pandemic sometimes can tell us what the things that suitable for us to do, to follow, for example. Okay. The next that because this kind of topics mentioned about risk, right? The risk is not only on the water pollution. The risk also to those actually be affected directly or indirectly. It's not because of the health or well-being, but because of, I call it as a microeconomic scale. You can see here, every nation, every country in the world drops their businesses. And even in Malaysia, until today, we still very hard to recover our business, economy, to make sure the new investment coming in. And you can see that number 1 till number 4, it is actually a real story. It's not the movie story. It's not from what we call that, the imagination. No, it is real. Okay, but it's also creates some other things. Like for example, I'm sure that in Indonesia also, it's actually increasing numbers of activity from online. Those actually from very savvy in terms of apps and digital economy, they are very concerned about that. They want to do some shopping online, and maybe is a great numbers of exploring the e-shopper. But in Malaysia, I can say in Malaysia, it about 300,000 increment. So what does it mean? So now the economy turns to be more digital. There is not necessary to depend on physical shop mall. They can be as e-shop. So what does it mean? They can reduce their capital. They can reduce their what we call that, the maintenance operation. So this is something a course for that particular conventional business, and what will happen to the next. Okay, but there are some also studies who actually evaluate what will happen after pandemics. Okay, I ask you guys over here, do you think that the pandemic will over? Maybe some of you very optimistic. You can say that yes, by end of this year, over. There is no more virus. Some of you may say that, okay, maybe we still have the virus, but we still can go travel from one country to another country. For example, in my case, I want to go to Undip. Undip want to go to UTM for maybe some physical experiences and sharing knowledge and do some kind of activities, because we love to travel. Why? For example, if you ask me, I want to go to your universities because I want to visit the faculty of Fisheries and Marine, because I want to go for scuba. I want to swim over there. It is very lovely. That's a kind of motivation to do, right? And maybe if I ask you guys to come to UTM or Malaysia, for example, maybe you have a specific reason on that. But the most important thing is people want to go out from their house because they're locked down very long in the house, at home, right? So they want to go somewhere else because they are very stressful to work inside the home. Like right now, what we are doing right now is actually I've been trapped in my house, cannot go somewhere else by only permission if go to my office and everything. So, but anyway, that's the things what we expect. What can we expect from the pandemics and even the post-pandemics? And the most important things, right? This is very, very crucial. Please be with me. Even this is maybe out of these topics, but this is crucial because this is under the risk assessment. But based on the COVID-19 occupational level risk, you will see that there are few numbers of bubbles appears here. You can see who and what kind of occupation been affected drastically and impacted significantly. You will see here, see the retail salesperson, the maids even here, the cashier, those actually working as, in Malaysia, we call it as most of the people B40, those actually low income group been affected for their risk score, for their occupation. Because in Malaysia, I give you one example, but I do believe in Indonesia also, there are few businesses being collapsed and they have to shut down their operations, as well as the hotel operation. Previously, hotel and the tourism activity is the most benefits to the country. But right now, why? Because there is no one can come and to support the activity on the tourism. So hotel is part of that. So what happened? In Malaysia, most of the chef from the hotel becoming street chef. Sorry, not street chef. They cook and then they do a kind of even the promotion. And even those actually the pilot of the airplane, what they are doing right now, they also do this kind of job. So this is a kind of activity be impacted. But what's the most important things is the frontliners, those actually working 24 hours to protect us, to give a kind of services on medical and everything. And this is one of the reality when we look into what's the face masks and those kind of material being used by these particular frontliners. We will go in that session. But before that, I want to show to all of you on certain movies that I've been obtained from YouTube. Maybe you can also get by yourself, but I try to share some.
Many health and care workers are working long hours with heavier workloads and insufficient time for rest and recuperation, resulting in chronic fatigue. At the same time, they are coping with the fear of contracting the disease and spreading it to their families and others. In addition, incidents of violence and harassment against health workers have increased during the pandemic, as well as stigmatization and discrimination.
There are from there. Okay, the next one. Because of the increased numbers of online and like example, for kind of in order for us, right? Okay. Okay. So back to our discussion just now. I said that before the pandemic, people really don't care about the hygienics or the sanitary, influence and those kind of hygienic SOPs. But since the pandemic occurs in early 2020, because it been detected in 2019 from China, I think Wuhan, right? I think everybody knows that one. So since then, WHO and other related organizations in the world, right now, they actually focusing on human being, what to do, especially make sure that you have to make sure that you wash your hands. Washing your hands that time is increasing number in sanitizer. This is another problem. I would like to maybe to highlight these things. Which one you think better? To sanitize by using the alcohol materials or to wash by only using soap or detergent? So which one better? In terms of sustainability and in terms of the practical things, sanitizer, sometimes it helps in that particular event. But the most important thing is we have to use detergent. And why? Because detergent is very useful and handy even compared to the sanitizer, right? Because give this example, if your hands is quite, clean and not clean, is something very dry. So if you use the hand sanitizer, sometimes you also wrapping those kind of particles. So it's not so safe to you. And even it can make some irritation on your skin. But the soap or detergent can be used very significant numbers on removing those kind of contaminants on your hands. Actually more effective than sanitizer. Because those kind of viruses, they have a very simple membrane that can be effectively by using only the detergent. So I will also explain there is some kind of what we call that issues. Not issue, it's a kind of research. People investigate whether the COVID-19 can be stay in our water. Whether our wastewater treatment also facing the same problems to airborne, for example. So this is another story, right? Because remember that those patients who stay in the hospital, they will use a public toilets or toilets, right? So they are actually the patient who already have the infected of the viruses. And what will happen if they have a urinal and those kind of things, whether they already impacted the sewage treatment plant? We will talk later on that. This is a very important for us to give very significant impacts, right? Okay, back to our major component here. I'm sure that I'm trying to not to make you very boring on the topic itself, but I think this is a fundamental issue. I'm asking you once again. So why we are wearing those face masks? Of course, the reason is filter. Last time, why we are filtering, why we are using this face mask, there's two reasons only. Two reasons. The first, if you're having a fever, coughing, so you don't want to influence others. That's only happen to developed country, not in ASEAN. In ASEAN, people doesn't care, right? They just something like that. So they don't even bother. But if you go to Japan, if you getting sick or fever, you will protect yourself because you don't want the others to be infected. So this is a kind of what we call that a good things. Okay. The second reason why we are using this one, because haze, haze, the particles, those suspended particle from the air, to make sure that you can breathe very good in the air by protecting that things. We never use those kind of masks. And I do believe that even in Indonesia, also Malaysia, facing the same thing, haze, right? We have the occasion of haze every year, almost every year. Do you actually use those kind of proper attire or face mask? I don't think so. You just put whatever you think that it can filter. And even some of us, they don't really bother. They just go outside that even the haze, they just breathing the air. This is the different things. Right now, we are because of the viruses. So you are being informed that the virus is very small, even the smaller than the particle itself, right? Even smaller than that. You can see here, this is those airborne particles that actually we receive from the haze. But right now, we are dealing with viruses. It's very small, about 400 nanometer. But those particles is only 10 micron or even 2.5 micron. So the size more coarse than the virus. So this is the needs why people invest in terms of designing the face mask. Some of the face mask, they have a double layer. Some of the face mask, if you go to e-shopper, you can find there is some also transparent face mask. That one very interesting. Why they can be transparent? You can look over there. I don't want to promote anything, but there's a kind of what kind of face mask suitable for us. And of course, people choose two things. The first, those actually been regulated by WHO or been have a standard by WHO. The second one is because of the fashion, right? The fashion. Some of us, they actually wearing the costume of superheroes. They are wearing that things. I saw in a vaccination center, somebody actually wearing a Batman, not a Batman, a Spider-Man, a Spider-Man costume to go to vaccination center because they said inside there is actually the filter media. So to ensure they cannot be affected by the virus. That's a kind of funny things. But anyway, that's happened. That's happening. I'm not so sure in Indonesia, but in Malaysia, we catch some videos and some photo. But I'm so sorry. Things about this. And we already have this kind of agenda, this kind of procedure, this kind of announcement to all our citizens, to all our campus citizens. Like for example, handshake. Don't do the handshake. What kind of handshaking? Alternative. Even this is being banned. Like for example, foot shake, elbow, tie, something like that is maybe even touch to the human body is also prohibited. Actually, please not do the things. But this is the early when because that time we are so awkward. If we meet someone, of course in Asia, in Asian especially, in Indonesia, in Malaysia same. If we meet someone, we will handshake, right, with some others. So, but we have to practice a new norms. Okay. Another one that in UTM we also have a stray or feral cat. You know, stray and feral cat. Those actually abandoned animals. And there are some reports already established a kind of alarming level that maybe the animal can also be one of the transmitter of the COVID. I think you heard some news. They already said that in certain country, they have a kind of zookeeper being affected by the COVID-19 from the animals. So because of that, in UTM also, we are focusing on the procedure. If you want to deal with these stray cats, make sure that you must follow these kind of things to ensure that there is no transmission from the animal. Even it's not been proven, even it's very less, but we still need to be very care. So this is a risk that we have to understand. And this is our major discussion today. Okay, so I do hope that you can try to look the possibilities even during the pandemics. Even during before the pandemics, we still having these kind of things. But when the pandemic happens, the numbers is increasing. And if you look to that particular PPE, of course, as I mentioned earlier, those frontliners is actually very closely working on this. But I'm not really concerned about the frontliners because they have a proper management for that, for their PPE. But remember, this kind of item, most of us actually utilize the disposal material of the face mask. I will show later on that. And each of us, one person for 4 units per day. So it means that if you are using a disposal things, if you're very active outside, you're supposed to, because the disposal item can be utilized only 4 hours to 6 hours, or maybe 5 hours is the optimum one. Then after that, you have to remove and take out that one and put it in the bins, right? And then you have to replace to the new one. So at least in a day, if you're active person, you need to use 2 types of face masks. But if maybe during the rainy season, maybe there's some kind of wet condition, you have to replace. So I can say that it's up to 4 units per day. You can utilize the disposal. Imagine if you are using the disposal, so the numbers is increasing, right? And there's some kind of report says that 4 out of the 6 face mask biological been contaminated. It means that even you look at, this, if you are wearing that kind of face mask, the disposal face mask, you will see that, the face mask is quite clean, because you cannot see those virus over there, right? If you can see the virus is just like that, give a kind of signal, maybe you can throw away just like that, right? But because you cannot see that one, but you believe that it is very clean, so you keep that things for another purpose. So when you keep that one, so the virus stay there for several hours. So your hands, your touch, whatever skin, whatever, it is a kind of surfaces that very easy to be affected by this virus. So this is a very important. And this is a part of global reports says that the face mask itself can dominate. This already dominated our marine environment by 1.56 billions. 1.56. So your faculty right now in Undip is a very quite challenging. I will show later on the videos related on that. And this will damage 100 million of ecosystem. 100 million of ecosystem, it can be protozoa and those kind of the things, up to the larger animals in the marine ecosystem or in the water ecosystem. So that's the reason why we put there the 100 million ecosystem will be damaged. And 2.3 trillion masks being used, and only 15 million been recycled. 2.3 trillion, it means that 2,300 billions, and only 15. So we can say that a few percentage been recycled on that. So it's quite massive numbers of that, right? And this is a part of face mask that I've been discussed just now, like FFP and surgical masks and homemade. And this is a very interesting nowadays. People try to move from like I said, that the fashionable face mask, so they are actually wearing a very good indicator for the homemade. But some of the homemade is not tally, or it's not according to the standard of World Health Organization. So this is maybe is only for the fashion. It's not only for the health. So you must be very careful. But if you are wearing those kind of surgical masks or those respiratory N95, that should be okay. But that's not the reason why I'm here. So this is the reason. This is the most reason why we are here. So what already been discussed, what I've been shared just now, It's about why and how this pandemic can influence those particular numbers of public to wear those kind of face mask and other things. Not only the face mask, but some of you may be wearing the glove, maybe, right? And some face shield, maybe. So those kind of things, it's the direct impact from those particular event. But how about the indirect one? The indirect, like for example, I think you've been listened and then you heard in certain news that since there is no activity because we have been locked down, the business cannot be operated, the industry should be shut down. So the air quality become more great compared to the previous before the pandemic, right? So there's no particle, there's no gas emission, so the air becoming so good, right? So another water quality as well as the air pollution, because there is no industrial discharge, there is no very illegal activities focusing on discharging those effluent. So it's also reduced the load pollution. But that one is indirect. So guys, all of here, I need you to go back to the Slido. Please, I will open that Slido to make sure that this is very interesting. What do you thinking about this pandemic, as well as this is maybe useful for us to make this happen, right? Okay, let me share. Okay. Can you see, sorry, can you see the, okay, sorry. Next, yeah. Okay, so let me open. Okay. Can you see this one, right? So please put your perspective on the pandemic, especially to the environmental quality. What is your, what we call the understanding when we are actually looking forward on the environmentals? Maybe it's associated to air pollution, maybe it's associated to wastewater, maybe it's associated to marine water, maybe it's also associated to the transportation, mobility. So what's your perspective about the environmental quality? It become good, it become worse, or this give us something reflection, something, wow, we never knows about this happening before, and this is the reason why we're supposed to do and to practice something, right? So what do you think about your perspective about this environmental quality itself? Just give me, can you guys go to this joining? Okay. Yes. One of you, some of you already put here as recovery. So the element here is on recovery. This is a very important because, as I mentioned earlier, the indirect event of this pandemic make those policymakers and implement, especially at your nation government, they are trying to say that, okay, since there is no activity of industry, so those particular river can recover very fast compared to their prediction. Because every day, if there is no lockdown, there is no shutdown of activity, so the discharge is coming to that particular area. So in order to recover back the environment level, it means that to make sure that the level of water quality increase back, so we need to make sure that we have to stop something, 20%, 30%, and something. right? So this is part of the recovery. Yeah, another things that you said about the pandemics, that Indonesia must do the lockdown. Yes, maybe that will be a short-term solution. As I mentioned earlier, the short-term solution is not maybe good for investment, the businesses. So we have to think in the sustainability. Lockdown, it is imbalance, but it is only to protect. But how about the job, economic growth? So it must do something else. So the perspective on the lockdown, it must be very balanced between the purpose, right? Poor, more medical waste. Yes, I will show later on what's the jeopardize of the pandemics. Make us the more people getting poorer and the richer man becoming more riches. This is also true. But it's not, of course, related to environmental quality. But those medical waste, poor medical waste, this is relates to certain country. In certain country, if you don't have proper planning for managing the medical waste, so that will endanger your environment, your ecosystem. People becoming consumptive. Yeah, consumptive, it means that they becoming, producing a lot of non-food material, like for example, plastics, because we are utilizing package. So we cannot dining in that particular restaurant. We have to take out. So what happened? More plastics, more packages, right? Lot of waste. Okay. Thank you very much for those actually joining and your perspective. I'll get back to my agenda because we don't have much time. I only have another 20 minutes, Mr. Moderator. 20 minutes, right? Okay.
Yes, right, Prof. Fadil. Thank you.
If you look here,
Excuse me, Prof. Fadil. Maybe the sound of video is too big, so your sound is not clearly. No problem.
Okay, can you see? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, okay. I hear your voice.
Yeah, you will see that it's actually very common. I think your faculty already have program related to it, right? You've been doing the same, and even in and we collect and right, but it's better. But the techniques, it's the kind of scenarios that maybe we have to put in mind, right? Even we are protecting ourselves, but we are not protecting the environment. So this is something I think you must do very cautious, right? And if you look into the bigger scale, like the indicator on pandemics, whether it's increasing our global agenda, yes, it's increasing. Like for example, it still increase the numbers of climate change activity. And why it is increasing the climate change of activity? Because there are still no takers. There is no lack of the mitigation on that particular activity relates to the climate change. The sea level still increasing. The sea surface temperature still increasing. Those kind of ocean heat content also increasing. Everything is increasing, even during the pandemic. Because the environmental ecosystem is not stopping. They are not changed based on the new norms. They are changing based on the activity that we are producing. So like I put here the analogy of baby when they coming to this kind of, walking and they can mastering their, the youth and something like that. So whether we already take care our steps in order to make sure that we can stand tall, in order for us to form the environmental adaptation. Like for example, can we do this kind of practice at our home, like cage or trashes? Put it in the bins, put in the plastic bags, and tied up properly and put it in the cage. Can we do that things? I think even during the pandemic, you should do this, right? And I do believe, I'm not so sure, but I just throw this idea. How you separate your face mask? How you do that things, even the glove? I do believe that in your home, you are wearing, because you're coming somewhere else, you know, coming back to the home, and you untie the face mask and put it, you know, tie it up and put in the bin, the same bin that you throw your food waste. Am I correct? You are not separate that things. Most of us, because a separation is always must do. Separation, even during non the pandemic, you should do. So this is how we restart. Okay, and there are few other things why face mask, the glove, whatever it is, can make it the problems, creates water pollutions. It's not because of the virus itself. It because of that materials. If you look over here, most of the material is coming from the nylon. Some of them is nylon. Some of them is a PET. Some of them is PP. Those materials of the plastics. And you will see that 400 to 700 years will be degraded for that particular piece of face mask or material developed by plastics. So it means that it takes a long time. So it's impossible to degrade by even the landfill types. It's impossible. But developing countries depends landfill much rather than other alternative media. I will show later on. Okay. And before the pandemic also, if you go to the beach or the seaside, you will see a lot of plastics. And imagine when the pandemic happens, the face mask also one of the top rank of the materials. So still having a problem. We are not actually solve the problem, but we increase the problem. Okay. So this is something that we have to bear in mind. And this is
It was completely legal to dump plastic in the ocean until the 90s, and a lot of that plastic is still there because plastic lasts out there for a very long time. It just breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces.
And we call it as a microplastic. And this microplastic is actually being explained.
We know that over 300 species of wildlife have ingested this material. It's been reported in animals. And so as it is eaten by animals, it actually can move up the food web. And as the scientific literature on this issue increases, literally almost every habitat they've gone to, seamounts, Arctic ice, coral reefs, deep sea, it's become ubiquitous. And I don't think anybody would fight anyone on an argument that plastic debris has not become a contaminant of concern.
Yeah, and there are scientists around the world, and even in ETF, we have on that particular.
We're collecting the samples by using a manta trawl. It's basically a big metal box with wings. It looks like a manta ray with a very long, about 12-foot mesh net off the back.
1, 2, 3.
How they are doing the testing. I will do
at the end, we're rinsing out of the screen.
We're still connecting the dots there a bit. We know that lots of trash goes out into the water. We know that the sun and waves breaks it down into small pieces. We know that many, many, many species of issues of the animals.
We don't know and educational solutions to it. We need to know that market change, is it education and behavior change work? What's the best way to tackle it? And until we know exactly what we're dealing with, we're not going to be able to design the right programs to address it.
This is from the National Geographic, okay? Okay, so you look into that kind of problems and you've been impacted from these microbeads. I don't want to touch more, but I do hope that you can ask me. But one of the reason here is microplastics there. And why they said the microplastic, because it's been break down to several pieces and it can be only visualized when you are using the magnification glance. You put there, you can see those kind of microplastic. And it's already there. Even during we put the additional of the face mask. Because usually this is coming from these plastics, these cosmetic, these clothes, these pellets. But now what happened when we are throwing our glove and face mask to our marine, this is one of the category will be impacted very significant. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, based on the SDG, this is already been impacted. I don't want to touch more, but I would like to put here SDG 2. This is in terms of the food production and distribution, because this is a reason people not doing effectively, actively do some crop plantation because they have to do some activity lockdown, so risk of disruption. Another one, because of the climate change, of course, it can also some disruption. North Korea, they already have a crisis on the food chain. So please go to the report also. And disruption and under the SDG 6, like what we are discussing just now, is do your frequent hand washing facilities. When you do the hand washing facility, you washing your hands, remember you are washing with detergent. Detergent is also contain phosphorus, for example, and this phosphorus will come back to the wastewater treatment. As I mentioned earlier, this is actually the common threat that we're facing right now. Even the virus is not there, but we are creating another things. So this is the risk on water pollution that we created, right? Even you are using the sanitizer, whatever, it is still being contaminated by your bottles, by your package, because you have to throw it out and make sure that it will be disposed to some other places. So increase the numbers of waste. And this is what the learning point on the waste. As I mentioned earlier, this is a categories. We are practicing on this, and we do have a lot of activities from our school, from our department, enjoying the beach, but as well as to make sure that those responsible to collect all the debris that they can find everywhere and at the beach. So this is a kind of plastic material that we already have in this particular detection. And this is what we need to know, right? This is a medical waste. And this is one of the practice in China. And I do believe that in Indonesia as well. But in Malaysia, we have a contractor, licensing operator, actually licensing out to ensure they manage this kind of medical waste. So I heard that in Malaysia counterpart, in the stakeholders, the numbers of medical waste is increasing, because not increasing in terms of the face mask or the glove, but also some other PPE and also the bottles, those kind of material associated to the medical waste. So it's increasing. So what we have to do, we cannot deal anything unless we are dealing with incineration or gasification. So you have to look, this is one of the solution that may be useful for us to follow, right?
This video demonstrates and visibly proves the
This is in
technology
order not
used
only
in the
to
Sigma
dispose
Professional
those
Engineering
material, but
syngas
to
generator.
make the energy.
The unit
It
is
means that
designed to
waste
convert municipal,
to energy.
industrial,
So
medical,
this is another
agricultural,
gasification
and other
techniques,
solid
but
wastes
I will
into a
skip the
BTU-rich
part.
gas through a
You will
process
see that
per unit
how the
by
people working
conveyor,
on that,
in-loader, or direct
and this is
dump
also
from trash
practiced
collection vehicles.
in Malaysia.
However,
Some
to show the detail of the
of the
waste being
licensed
processed
operators,
for this video,
and
the waste is
we
being
also
manually
hoping
loaded
that
through the
this will
maintenance
increase
access door on the end of
the
the
numbers of
unit's
operations
module
soon,
A.
not only to the medical waste, but to also
As you see,
our
there is no
domestic, because
pre-sorting or
the wearing of the
pre-processing of the
face
waste
mask
material.
and the glove also not
In this
from the
demonstration, the
hospital,
waste is a typical mixture of
also
municipal
increase
solid
from the
waste
household.
and
So
industrial
we need to
waste
ensure
with a
that
BTU
the
content of approximately
incinerator or gasification
4,500
can also be
BTUs per
included
pound.
in the domestic
This waste
disposal
includes
technique.
non-recyclable plastic.
So
Syngas
how they are using
generation process has
the
started.
terms here is
Larger
syngas,
and multiple
syngas.
vessels can
So
be
they are
used to
creating the
convert larger
syngas,
volumes into more
and this
with
is the
minimal
part of
moving
the
parts. A highly
fabrication
flammable
or the
syngas
gases.
is consistent distilled water,
And some of the
ice,
portion here, we
mud
call it
flame.
as
Following
black
that
hole,
initial
right? So it means
ignition,
red,
the flame is
burning all
self-sustaining.
that kind of material,
In commercial
and they are
systems,
producing
optional
less
components would be added to
particles,
use the syngas
less
to produce
nitrogen
usable
oxide,
thermal and electrical
what we
energy
call
as
the gases
needed.
emission.
In
They
addition
can
to
be as one
economically
part of the
producing renewable
pollution
energy, the
sources.
system
They try to
contributes
reduce the thing. Okay?
instead of consuming the
And
minimal
this is
amount
has
of bottom
some
ash from the
residuals
process is
after
sold
they
to
burn it
cement
out,
and asphalt
and
companies
how they do
for
and
as
how
a
they
routine
manage. They
additive
also
in the
put
concrete. Presents a
so you
cost-effective,
can find this
efficient,
out
and
very
environmentally
fine.
sound form of
Just go to
alternative
the
energy,
YouTube,
with the added
typing the
benefit of
thermal
providing a
oxidation, so you can
solution to the
find
complete
easily from it.
recycling of municipal,
Okay?
industrial, medical, and agricultural.
Kat sini sama ada isi pun ada perubahan kita semula ataupun kita boleh kita semula.
And this is also part of our initiative in the campus. We call it as a zero waste management. This is also included before the pandemic. But what happened right now, we already have a system to manage our medical waste, our domestic waste in the campus. Okay, as well as to deal with this kind of management. So we introduced the single stream recycling. So this is one of the initiatives that we made before on the zero waste management campaign in the campus. This is the campus, not only in my university but also in the campus. And because of that, you will see that our initiative also dealing with this. So this is one of our beach area. Once we've been cleaning up for one day, another 2 days is already happening back. So the plastic coming back everywhere here. So we are putting with I do think that actually
today I am collecting the waste.
Undip also we are doing the same. Right? So this activity last time with the students, with NGOs, with the corporate body to ensure that we can see our and who come inside the country. Okay? And we also do some progress on research. This is a very quick. And this is zero waste. Now expand to other campus, not only in my universities, but other universities. So this is already in place right now. Okay, and this is one of my article last time when we developed associated to the waste, but not associated to the face mask. We cannot reuse the face mask for this purpose, right? We cannot use for the fertilizer. But this is one of the food waste last time. And the most important things, why we are dealing with this, of course, UTM very far from the beach. Even we want to do some beach activity, we have to travel around 45 minutes to 1 hour. But inside the campus, we are being enriched with our biodiversity. We have river water, we have ecosystem. 40% of our campus is being placed with the green areas. So we have identified 400 species in our campus, including the fauna and flora. So we already here. If you want to look what UTM has, so you can go to this website and then click the UTM biodiversity. You can find easily there. So I do hope that Undip can also do the same thing, right? This is the effort to manage, to make sure that our engagement to the biodiversity. And this is our products. I just want to go through. Last time we've been focused to make sure that we can contribute to our society. This is our platform to ensure our frontliners can get free of charge because we want to appreciate them. And also some other robotics, frontliner innovation to ensure that it's very less or minimal contact with the person. So we are creating these robots. So UTM also developing this something. And innovation on the aerosol box to ensure that we cannot contact directly to the patient that actually having the quarantines. So we are developing this box. So this is something like on healthcare workers. And also we are dealing with many kind of COVID-19 webinar, forum and everything, as well as to make some graduates and student engagement. So we are dealing with this also. And this is part of activities that have been associated with us, like, for example, Dr. Denny. He's actually now with LIPI. and senior researchers, and looking on the pit water handling. This is just a few. We have a lot of, but I just make sure that because he's actually from Indonesia, so maybe this will be interesting part to make a promotion to other Indonesian people, right? And this is our group solution, that how to reduce the gas emission from motorbikes, from vehicles. So we are providing the nanofluid technology. This already been patented. So it's a patch type. So you just put wearing that patch to your gasoline fuel. So it can do some other benefits, especially reducing your gas and also make it more efficient in your vehicles. So this is part of what we are dealing with. And I also want to promote the next coming soon on March 2020. This is related to what maybe we can discuss right now on the collaboration and partnership. We are developing this international conference from IPASA. We are welcome. We still open your contribution to join us. There's some special discount for Undip. Please come with us with what we call it as a group. So we can give you a kind of discount. But the most important thing, this is the platform that we are regional. We are making a series on this. So this is a benefit for us to create. And another important thing is that because Undip asking on the partnership, so this is the partnership that may be associated. We already been partnered with at least 8 universities in Malaysia and 3 universities from Europe. So it's the best for us because we are part under sustainability university. So either it's a marine or water, whatever it is part under the sustainable university. So it's great for us, right? We already have the platform for you. Okay, so before I ending this session, this is a very crucial part for us, the risk during the COVID-19 and what it impacts towards our pollution. I can make it a summary. The first is about the material that we use to protect ourselves, to how we can manage the things, right? The second one, how to ensure that the management in terms of the material, because the virus is stay there for a few hours. So make sure that we are not dealing it easily. It is something, a serious matter for us. That's the second one. The third one is how to handle these things, because usually developing countries actually depends on the landfill area. So when we dispose this, what we call that, the face mask, whatever it is, we cannot dispose easily. We have to do some alternative way to dispose the waste. Like for example, I give you the incineration and gasification. That's the only way for us to solve the problems. And the final but not least is the engagement and commitment by ourselves, because we are dealing with research, but as well, it is our duty, our responsibility to make sure that it can provide better for our environment, not only because of our niche area or our research entity. It because of we care and because we want to protect our environment. I think that's all from my sharing session to all of you. So hope to get more from the participant. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much, Prof. Fadil, for giving. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Fadil, for giving such informative and interesting presentation. It's a nice knowledge. But I agree with you because this pandemic COVID, we become consumptive. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to discussion session. We already have a question in Zoom chat and YouTube. Okay, the first question comes from from Mr. Yogi from the Directorate General of Marine and Fisheries Resource Supervision, Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries. There are 2 questions about one, can unused COVID-19 vaccine also cause medical waste and be harmful to waters? And second, what is the toxic level of the medical waste for the COVID-19 vaccine? Okay, maybe to Prof. Fadil,
Okay.
could you please answer?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Yogi. I think he's from the Directorate General, right? Marine Fisheries, from the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. That's a very, I think, part of the evaluation that we supposed to highlight when we are dealing with the waste. The keyword here is the unused COVID-19 vaccine. That's trigger me some clue here. All the countries, when they are ordering the vaccines, they are ordering based on the demands. And even in certain area, we are still lacking. Even in Malaysia, I give you one of the example in Malaysia, we open for the walk-in vaccination. People come and queuing up for 2 kilometers to get the vaccines. So maybe I can say that there is no report yet said about the unuse of the COVID-19. But what? And even it is happened, right? Even it is happened. All other kind of vaccine capsules that we are receiving, or bottles there, it's been treated as medical waste. It's not treated as the municipal or domestic. So whatever is treated by medical, so they have the rules and regulation to dispose as medical. If this been dispersed to the environment, vaccines is actually contains of endoviruses there, and it can be mutated, it can be stay, and it can be some evolve, and we didn't know that whether it can create some other potential risk, but it has a potential. It will be, it could be there if we are discharge this improperly. So that's the first question. Okay, this will harm to the water. The second one is the toxic level of the medical waste. Okay, the toxic level of the medical waste. This kind of because when we say the medical waste, it means that it is whether it's residual or whether it been contaminated. That's we call it as a waste. But the toxic level, there's no toxic level unless it been contaminated, as I said earlier. So the toxic level of the medical waste from the COVID-19 vaccine is yet to be identified. It's yet to be published by others. So it means that the toxic can be focused towards to the short terms and the long terms. I think this is the reason why we have to look into a series, and the developer of the vaccines, they never reveals what exactly those things, because we have to remember, even for these vaccines, the short-term demands and urgent demands, they don't have enough time to test for the long terms. And this is very crucial for us. So I do hope that this will be another trigger factor for us to reveal soon. And this is maybe one of the, what we call that, the new research part for us to look into in the future. Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Fadil. Okay, next question. The second question, it's from Mr. Amirul Abu Bakar from GTM, Prof, asking about how serious the risk and hazard impact of newly emerging pollutant of face masks, medical waste, disposal, etc. from this COVID-19 pandemic toward our ocean resources, include fisheries, coral, tourism, etc. In the current and the near future.
Okay. I can divide this question to two: the risk and hazards. Risk is something like whether it is low or high is still the risk. Hazard, it means that it can impact it. It can make it a kind of reason to be healthy reasons for that, right? So if I focus on the risk there, as I mentioned in my sharing session, those risk is increasing. Why? Because we are wearing a types of different materials of face mask or the PPE, and everything's on the medical waste, right? So the risk will be increased. The risk increase in terms of management, the risk in terms of contamination, the risk in terms of those what we call that proper bins disposal, something like that. That's a risk there, and it's very serious. And the most serious is not from the hospital or clinics. The most serious is coming from the household, because we are having that in our house. So how we manage that thing? So the risk is very high, if you ask me. Okay, and we need to educate our publics to make sure that they treat it as separation. They must separate that things. Mr. Octavia, if I ask you, in your house, you are using the detergent bottle, right? Those kind of medical. This is also medical waste. And how you treat this thing? Don't ask about the face mask, but ask what we are dealing right now. We still lack in terms of separate this thing. What we have to do is separate. So when you separate, you can put effectively that one. Okay. In terms of hazard, there are few kind of studies. If you look into certain medical journals, they already put the attention on the period or durations for the viruses to be there in that particular materials or airborne particles, because we have a particles. And right now, they said that Delta variant of that COVID-19 is very quick transmission, and it can stay in the airborne. Like, for example, if you work in the office, centralized air conditioning, and that virus can travel from the air. And that's the hazard. So that's the reason why right now I saw that when I go everywhere, even in the driving the car, people wearing that face mask. So in terms of risk and hazard to me is increased simultaneously. Okay, I hope that it will answer that questions.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Fadil. Okay, for the next question, maybe we have a participant will asking directly, maybe from Miss Dia Ruri from FPIK Unsud. Can you on cam and can you open mic your to your mic? I'm sorry for. Okay, maybe.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay.
Right. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm sorry I could not turn on my camera. I don't know. I think it's the technical things.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So my question is this very interesting topic today that you've shared. Thank you very much, Professor. And my question is, Professor Fadil, as you mentioned before that our daily routine, we need to wash our hand when we came out or came home from the outside, and we always use soap, right, to wash our hand. And as you mentioned that there are certain chemical on soap that may be harmful, and of course it will make residual things in the waters, and of course can be sometime in certain level it can be toxic to the aquatic organism. So suggestion possibly, or maybe advice, what can we use to wash our hands? Is that we can come back to the nature, certain leaves or something, or we can use certain thing, certain soap that is less harmful. And the second question is the method that you mentioned to reduce the musk is by using incarnation and also gasification waste. As you shown us in the video, the method is a bit, complicated maybe for the application in daily use, or is in Malaysia itself, there is a certain pool that the people can just put the mass, the waste of the mass to that area, and then the government will do for them? Or maybe you can share to us what should we do in Indonesia? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Jahuri. Ruri, right? Okay, it's a
Yes,
very interesting questions there. I will treat it one by one. Okay, the first I said about the detergent, hand washing. Yeah, believe me, once the pandemic happens, it is actually a trigger factor for company to promote their sanitizer, hand sanitizer, right? It's not the soap, the hand sanitizer is increasing, is dramatically changed. I think about 100% to 200% increase. But my concern here is not on that businesses. My concern is about the hygienic SOPs that can create another potential risk to our wastewater. So that's the reason why in Malaysia, all the connected sewer is coming from the toilets and also from the silage. It means being connected. This is connected. So when you are, washing your hands by using a detergent, it is okay because your wastewater treatment can treat it because they already, they already have the proper treatment for that particular things. But what I'm worried, if you go to a restaurant, if you go somewhere else, yes, they provide the soap there, but the line comes back to the stormwater, not to the treated treatment plant, right? It's straight away to the stormwater directly to your river. And this will increase the phosphorus, because this detergent contains a lot of phosphorus and also ammonia, a certain part of ammonia. So this part of things will increase, and the loading for the NNP, for nitrogen and phosphorus. So this is what I said earlier. But the most effective way in order to what we call that, make sure that we cannot be infected by the virus is hand washing, not the sanitizing. Hand wash is the best solution. Okay, as I said, why it's not good, because the sanitizer is alcoholics and it is actually can damage your skins, and as well as we not so sure their effectiveness compared to soap and water. Soap and water is a good medium for us to remove those things. It's not killing, but remove. So this is one of the things. Okay. Okay. Your next, I hope that it is answer your first questions. The second question is about the complicated on gasification. Yes, Ms. Daruri, this is also for developing countries. We don't even have the investment on that, right? So that's the reason I said, in order to do this practice, the medical waste must be treated as medical waste. So the household, like for example, in Malaysia case study, we already put the segregation. It's a mandatory actually to segregate your waste. So put the segregation, and that medical waste can be labeled and sent to those particular licensed operator, because they already been paid for the medical waste. So they must collect that things, and even they need that kind of medical waste to make sure the things. So licensed operator is the only way solution, okay, for us to make it protected. There is no other ways. But there's some other issue. You said that, yeah, it's very costly. How about the rural area? How can they do that things? Of course, the rural area, what they are doing? They are bury that one, right? They dig a kind of holes, they put there. So that's another risk and hazards will come soon for our soil and water, underground water. It will also create the things. Not the virus. I can say that not the virus. Virus can be retained for several hours only. But the materials there. The material is undegradable for 100 to 700 years. Non-degradables. So this is the things that we have to bear in mind. And the only solution here is for example, in our country, we are creating a kind of stakeholders. We call it as federal government and state government. So state government is the operator in order to operate these things. And at this moment, they are collecting as domestic level, domestic category. So if you don't separate your waste, So they will deal it as a domestic. Even you put your face mask to the domestic, they will treat as a domestic. But if you separate that things, so they will deal as a medical. That's the only choice that we can do, right? But Indonesia, I'm not so sure how they deal with this. But if you deal this face mask and the other things as domestic wastewater, domestic waste, so we are having a problem in future, especially in terms of degradation. And even for those operators, they are dealing with the face mask and they are collecting by using their hands, right? By using the things, so they can be contaminated. So these operators, they have also wearing the PPE apparatus in order to deal. But at this moment, we still yet to receive any cases from the operators, from waste operators. So maybe we still safe at this moment, but we still need to do some practical way. So I do hope that I answering your question, Ms. Jahruri.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you.
Fadil.
Thank you for your questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ruri. Thank you, Prof. Fadil. And then next question, we have a participant. We will asking directly. Maybe Mr. Ahmad Wildan, can you on cam and can you open mic right now?
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Wildan.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, moderator, for giving me a chance to give the questions and to deliver the questions to the speakers. Sorry for not opening a cam for for prohibiting the technical issues. That's why I just give questions without the camera open. So thank you for Mr. Fadil. Yeah, thank you for giving a lot of the informations regarding the risk assessments and hazard impacts and any other informations that you shared today. My name is Ahmad Willan and I'm currently enrolling as a master student for food science in IPB University. After listening your presentations, your informations, then I know two questions. The first questions regarding the mechanisms of the plastic materials used in producing a mask and the gloves, which is give harmful to the environment. So the question is, how the mechanisms, those materials until it give the pollution to the water or to the environment, until it is influence the aquatic organisms, which widely we consume, such as the fish, crustaceans, and any other aquatic organisms, how the mechanisms. And the second question is about in the future, do you have any an idea in replacing, in replacing those materials from the plastics, which is safe, that can be used in the future in creating a mask or gloves without, it's not only protecting ourselves from the viruses, but it can also save for the environment. So we should not, giving a special treatment in clearing the problem kind of the environments. So thank you. Yeah, that's the questions from me. And thank you for the response then.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad. All right, this is another great questions, right? I can say that because you asking about the mechanism, how these materials can also be the risks and hazards, especially towards to the crustacean and other potential animals. If you read some of the articles related on soil and fertilizer, even before the pandemics, some of the researchers already explained about the microplastics can also be one of the major concern when we are dealing with fertilizer. Because we know that when we are making a composting material from food waste to be as the, what we call that, fertilizer materials, we still also having not properly separate our plastics materials there. So what happened, the plastic still present in that, and it been infused by using those kind of transmission from the soil to the particular plants. So this has been endorsed with few researchers on that. So I do believe that right now, because we are using different types of plastics, and all this plastic is very hard in resins, because they are using a resins. Another one, they are using a very high standard durability for in order for them to make sure this cannot be degraded easily. Like for example, they are using polyethylene, right, materials, or even they are using the PET that usually used for certain clothes and also plastic bottles there. So as we know that the degradable of this, it's not degradable, it's a breakdown to the pieces. It takes time, but if it is happen, not only the crustaceans will also impacted for this particular breakdown, but also those organism, like for example, you know, seahorse. Seahorse also can, this is very small. This is a kind of ecosystem. Not only the seahorse, but also the seaweed. Because the seaweed is actually the breeding area. Like, I think you know that, for certain animals to be there. And also a certain part of, you know, ecosystem, chain reaction of the food chain. Like certain materials that having bigger scale of the micro material particles, you have to remember, this animal, they don't really bother whether this is for food or whatever, they just eat whatever they can find in the marine ecosystem or water ecosystem. They just eat, whether they can swallow and whatever they ingest in their body and abdomen. So they can do this frequently, because they are not being trained, right? These fishes, this crustacean, we cannot go to the deep sea, say that, okay, you can eat this one, you cannot eat that one, you cannot do that things, you cannot do the training there. So the only things, if you go to certain biologists, when they are making those kind of investigation, they can find many kind of inside their bodies there. Why? Because they just eat whatever it is. So this is another problems, right? And when the coming with the face mask, whatever it is, this another problems. And this is also relates to what your second questions is about. What my imagination in future, whether can we change, can we alternate, not using the face mask, maybe we can use some kind of nano material, like I said earlier, the face mask with the transparent things. Whatever we want to do, I believe that our researchers, our human is very clever to do the things, right? Even maybe not the face mask, maybe using certain kind of materials that very nanotechs, or maybe can use in order to make better filtration. So I don't mind on that things. But the most important things here is whether this technology is viable in that particular event, right? So we actually right now is only adapting. We are not focusing. We adapting whatever we have right now. We try to design and research to do whatever we can protect right now. But it will soon get more attention when somebody else do the research, more deep research. Oh, we cannot do these things. We cannot do that things because this is the risk or hazard that can be associated. So in summary, what I can say that in future, people not only focusing in terms of this material itself, but they will concern about the chain reaction. What will happen to the environment? What will happen to human body, to human health, and what will happen to other environment factors? So when they have this kind of evidence base, okay, then the solution will be there. And maybe if you are very imaginary, you can, as I mentioned earlier in my first presentation, I said that have you watched any movie related to the environment, right? I still remember that time in certain movie, they already said that in future, people wearing astronauts, wearing a kind of suits, astronauts, when they want to go out. So this is a kind of things why they say that planet Earth is not useful and not good for us. So we have to go to another planet. We have to go to the Mars or we have to go to the station of other, not in Earth. So that will be imagination, people thinking about that. And maybe not only in terms of the suit, but also in incubation. Like, for example, I can imagine, because this is movie, right? Movie, just imagine. When you go out, when you want to enter the home, you have to sanitize. There is some kind of machine, sanitize you, something like that, for a few minutes, for a few seconds, then you can enter the home, and you can enter the room, for example. It can be like that. So I can say that in future, people will be more creative and more futuristic. It depends to that particular occasion and what event will be. All right. I hope that I can answer your question, Ahmad. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fadil, for the explanations.
Okay, it's enough, Mr. Wildan.
Yeah, it's very clear. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wildan. And now the last question from Alpha Bagas. From Alpha Bagas, a student from Aquatic Resource Management Undip. He was asking for question. What is the best and easiest way to process medical waste and disposable waste for the general public? Because we know that many people are not aware of this, and maybe we can socialize this. We can socialize it to the public. Okay.
Thank you, the moderator. Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Alpha. Your name is actually Alpha. Alfalfa. You know alfalfa. Alfalfa is part of algae, and that's good for our health. I think Ibu Suryanti know about this, right? Alfalfa. If you drink alfalfa, it's good for you. Maybe it's good for protecting yourself. Okay. Anyway, the things that you said about the best, easiest to process the medical waste, I already mentioned. The only things that you cannot depend on landfill. So please bear in mind, there's no landfill area, there's no dumping area that can provide the easiest way. The best even very far. Okay. The best things here is people not aware. Right? You said that people not aware how to socialize and to make it public. Okay, I can say like this. I do believe that alfalfa is the Z generation. You are the Z generation, and maybe you are the millennium generation. Me and maybe Ibu Suryanti from the X generation, the X professor from mutant, the mutant team. We are in a different era. It means that right now, people they want to follow something, they need to be so entertaining rather than education. Education is yes, because you are in the part of education, so you want to do. What the people doing right now? TikTok. I do believe that in Indonesia, you love do the TikTok. So that's a social media to promote something else about the awareness. That's number one, TikTok. You can do TikTok. I'm not really creative on that. I do believe Alfalfa, you are the best doing the TikTok. The second one is not only the aware, but participate. Aware is something else. Maybe like right now, what I'm doing is I'm aware. But if I'm not practice, I'm the failure. I'm asking people to do, but I'm not doing it. So not participate. So in the level of sustainability, you should aware and participate. So in order to do the participation, whatever it is, the first thing, maybe to Alpha and to the rest of us right here, please try not using disposal face masks. Please try avoid, please. I'm not saying that avoid totally, reduce. Because sometimes what you have to wear right now, okay, if you want to go out, what you have to bring? You have to bring your bags, right? In your bags, what the item that you have to propose there? You have to put your soap, maybe your detergent, whatever it is, in a small bottle. You have to bring also your face mask and maybe your glove. And that one is actually the reusable. So what I can say here is please, after this, even me, I'm also using a what we call the recyclable face mask, but the recyclable with the double layer. And please clean it every day. I'm asking someone, actually they are wearing the what we call that, the double layer, but sometimes they forgotten to wash their face mask. So please wash that thing. So what I can say that aware is another factors, participate in other factors, do promoting that things from the social media, and make sure that people also same like you. You say that, okay, please avoid the disposal mask and or minimize utilizing the disposable, because it's not good for our environment. And this is also similar, if you remember my first slide, I said that no single-use plastic. So face mask is part of single-use plastic as a cutlery, as a part of spoon and also the forks. So we have to treat this as no single-use plastic. Then you are good. Okay, I hope that I can answer you, Alpha. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Fadil, for your answer. It's a great answer. Maybe it's enough, Prof. Fadil, for the question. And ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this. Before I close the seminar, I would like to take the conclusion from what the speaker have presented. Prof. Fadil gave a brief of this pandemic via interesting and easy way like movie. He also mentioned many types of face masks. It's the medical waste. We need to separate from food waste and another stuff. The frequently of hand washing with detergent also gave a big impact to the risk in water. And no use a single face mask. Okay, before I close, I like to apologize if there are many mistakes from me as a moderator during this session. And also I like to thank you so much to Prof. Fadil for informative and interesting presentation, and also to the participants for very active participation. Hopefully, the seminar will be beneficial for everybody. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Fadil, and for you all. Thank you, and I return to this seminar to Dr. Anin Ditya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Fadil.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very fruitful seminar. Thank you very much, Prof. Fadil and Mr. Tian. Before closing, I would like to remind you, please fill the attendance link with your screenshot proof or of attendance to get certificate directly. And you can access also the certificate and also the material in the seminar via this website. In the slide, you can see. The committee also put in the Zoom chat and also in the live chat in YouTube. So well, we are now at the end of this seminar. Let's close with say hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. For the information, we have several online seminars this semester, and for upcoming seminars, 18 August 2021, we will invite speaker from Deputy for Earth Science of Indonesian Institute of Science or LIPI, Professor Oki Karna Rajeta. He will talk about peran LIPI dalam kajian resiko bencana untuk penanggulangan bencana pesisir. So please don't hesitate to subscribe as well as follow our social media in YouTube and Instagram for further information in the future in the next seminar. We hope that everyone has enjoyed the seminar today, and also the seminar gives beneficial for us. Once more, thank you for your participation today. I would like to apologize if I made some mistakes during the seminar. See you in the next seminar. Stay healthy and productive. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Fadil.
Terima kasih Prof. Fadil.
Thank you.
Next time kami undang lagi.
Apa kabar, Pak?
Ya.
Ya, baik, Pak.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Ya, alhamdulillah. Terima kasih Prof. Fadil.
Ya. Nanti Ibu Suranti kita buat collaboration ya. Untuk collaboration saya akan panggil.
Ya, oke.
Insyaallah.
Ya.
Oke, terima kasih sekali lagi.
Mantanun Prof. Fadil. Terima kasih.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nanti kami undang lagi.
Assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Terima kasih, Mak. Tim. Macet lagi nih.
Alhamdulillah. Selamat ya Mas Fian, Mbak Anin, Mas Wiwi, terima kasih, Mas Kuku.
Selamat, Bu Kadep, mereka.